Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this channel, we will have a series of videos. I'll create a playlist. These videos are all about Oracle BRM, which is the billing system uh, being used by most of the telecommunications clients across the globe. So you will be able to learn each and everything about Oracle BRM by doing some hands-on work, and you will be able to get into a good job as well. So try to follow each and every video. This is the first video, so this is the good start. And follow each and every step. If you have any doubts, questions, or clarifications, put it in the comment section. I will provide an email ID as well, and you can email me with your doubts, and I will be able to respond back to you as soon as possible. So let's start with the first video of Oracle BRM. We will look into it, what exactly Oracle BRM is, what it will do, and uh, why it is being used by so many clients, how it does differently from other billing systems, and so on. So let's get started. So if we look at the second slide of the presentation here, so this is the place where we will discuss about the background of Oracle BRM, where it is used, what are all the application areas, which businesses are using it, what are all the clients. So if we look at that particular detail, Oracle BRM is being used by many of the telecommunication companies across the globe. You name it. Uh, if it is US, it is being used by T-Mobile, Verizon, TracFone, and so on. And if it is Asia Pacific, then it is being used by Vodafone, Australia, New Zealand, Fiji, and then it is being used in the Europe as well by Vodafone UK. Um, Now it is being called as Orange, Vodafone Greece, Vodafone Qatar, and then if you take Middle East, yeah, Qatar I informed, and then it is being used by Mobily in Saudi. There are some clients in Bahrain as well. So, so pretty much Oracle BRM is being used across the globe by most of the telecommunication companies. So, so if you have a postpaid SIM card, then there is a billing system in the background which is helping you to get the invoice on time. So that is how we can look at Oracle BRM, and that is the area where you can expect some job if you learn Oracle BRM end to end. And there are so many other billing softwares as well. Before going to that, let us look at the other areas where we can use Oracle BRM. So we first need to know about what is a subscription business. So as you know, if you are paying for any service on a recurring basis, then that is called a subscription business. For example, you might have Netflix, that's a subscription business. You have to pay either annually or monthly. If you have Amazon Prime, that is also the same. If you are getting a newspaper on a daily basis, you might be paying for that particular newspaper on a regular recurring basis. So these are all comes under subscription businesses. So maybe you are paying for your telephone bill, internet bill, electricity bill, or water bill or sewage bill, whatever. So everything that happens on a recurring basis, the payments or the services provided based on a recurring payment basis, then that is called a subscription business. So if you have a subscription business, if somebody has a subscription business, they need a billing system. So though there are so many subscription billing softwares, there are very few which supports the subscription businesses under telecommunications. One is Amdocs, second one is Kenon, Netcracker, SAP-BRM is also supports telecommunications. There is another uh, product called Matrix, which is mainly used for the prepaid solutions. It is being used in the Switzerland for one of the telcos. And the single view is also being used by telcos and so on. So these are not the only billing softwares, but there are so many. But these are the most well-known billing systems similar to Oracle BRM. So basically, if you learn about a billing system, you should be able to work in any other billing system as well. So there could be a few mechanical changes in the systems and then some architectural differences, but overall the business works same irrespective of the billing software. So it is good to know how each billing software will work so that you will be able to understand how each billing system is designed to solve some of the problems or how better we can serve the telecommunication industry. So that is how you should look at each and every other billing softwares. We don't need to go into the in-depth concepts about each and every system, but if you learn about a billing system as a concept, then you will be able to take anything, any system. You can catch up with any other system as well in no time. So that is about all other softwares. And next, we will look at what is OSS, what is BSS, and all other terminologies. So when it comes to telecommunications, any telecommunication provider need two kinds of systems. So these are differentiated as two different systems. So one is operations support, another one is business support. So how we can differentiate or how we can know about these two is that operations support means how you can operate the business. Business support is like how you can run the business, how you can maintain the business and so on. So operations is taken care by the network. For example, if you have a postpaid SIM card, then you will have a SIM card inserted into your telephone, mobile device, or if it is an eSIM, you don't need a physical SIM card, but you will be getting a signal from your telecommunications service provider. So there will be a tower which will provide the signal to your mobile device. So that is the network. It is not just the tower. The tower is accompanied by the switches, and there are so many other, operations, and then other, other hardware related, and there will be software as well within the OSS. Though it is minimal, but there will be a lot of software installed into those hardware as well. So you can think like, the towers and all other aspects as OSS for simplicity purpose. Later on, you can go in depth as you get into any job, and then you will be working in any job, and then gradually you can improve the knowledge about each and every of these concepts. For now, you just need to have an overall idea or a overall picture that there are two different kind of things under telecommunications which helps the businesses to run smoothly. The next one is the BSS. So BSS is the business support systems, under which Oracle BRM is one major part. So Oracle BRM, or the billing system, which falls under BSS category, helps the businesses to generate the invoices, to capture their usage, to send the invoices to them, and then collect the payments from the customers and generate the general ledger. So we will be discussing about all these, what Oracle BRM does in the next slides. So basically in BSS, it is not just Oracle BRM, or it is not just the billing system, there will be so many other systems as well. For example, CRM. CRM means the customer service relationship management, and there will be CPQ, configure price quote, that is what CPQ means, and there will be inventory management, there will be so many other areas, uh, so many other applications which helps to capture the information from the customers. So it is the BRM is just managed to hold the subscriptions, to maintain the subscriptions information in the billing system, and then generate the regular or the recurring invoices for them, and so many other few other modules within BRM. So it is always good to have that knowledge of what are all the systems possible that will be there under BSS. So you can just keep a note of all these software names that I mentioned, and later on you will be able to improve the knowledge into those when required. So it should not be a blank page when somebody talks about a CPQ that is integrated with billing system. So CPQ means configure price quote. That will be used in some telecommunications. It is not mandatory that you should be using it all the time for all the customers. So that is about the OSS and BSS. Let's get into the next topic. We will look at what is BRM, how it came into the picture, and so on. So back in the 1980s, or maybe the 1975 or 1980, there is a company called Portal. Portal created this software called Portal Infranet. So that is the first software that is created to serve the subscription businesses and to serve the telecommunication clients. So that is the first name. It is called Portal Infranet, and there are so many versions, like Portal Infranet version 4.5, 5, 6, and so on. And later on, Portal Infranet acquired a company called SOL42. So SOL42 mainly it processes the usage of the customers. So usage is nothing but it is called a CDR in telecommunications. So telecommunications terminology. CDR stands for call detail record. So for example, you make a phone call or you send an SMS or you browse something on your mobile device using the SIM card that has been provided to you, then those details will be captured in a file called CDR by the OSS. So the network layer, you know, there is a tower. The tower will capture that. Tower will come to know that you make a call. It will know to whom you call, what is the duration of the call, and so on. What is the time zone and all those things. So it will capture those details in a text file, and that text file is called CDR file. It will come to the billing system by another software called mediation. So mediation is integrated with the BRM to pass the details from the network to the billing system to charge the customer for whatever the duration that they have used the service. So that is what SOL42 does. It has the module called batch rating. It is also called pipeline in BRM. So pipeline batch rating does the usage charging for the customers. It looks at the CDRs, it looks at the call records, and then looks at the plan. Based on the plan, it applies the charge to the customer. So that is the acquisition of SOL42 by Portal. Later on, probably in the year 2000 or 2005, Oracle acquired Portal company, and then Oracle released Portal, I think Portal Infinite 6.8 or something, or 7.0. Later on, they renamed the product as Oracle BRM. So BRM stands for Billing and Revenue Management. So they named it as Oracle Communications Billing and Revenue Management. So Oracle itself is having so many other billing softwares like subscription cloud. There is another system called Oracle RBM, which is different from BRM. So don't get confused when you hear about the other billing softwares by Oracle itself. BRM is the most widely used from past few decades. So BRM is different from the subscription cloud or RBM or any other billing systems. It stands out. We will also see what versions of BRM are released so far by Oracle. So initially it is 7.0, then later on 7.3, 7.4. After that, it is 7.5. 7.5 is another major version released by Oracle long ago. After 7.5, Oracle released a version called Falcon. It is also, the number is 12. The Falcons, Oracle Falcons number is 12. So the version of Oracle BRM is 12. And the latest version released by Oracle is 15, 1.5. So you should be remembering all these version names. When you try to attend any interview of Oracle BRM, they will ask the question, which version of Oracle BRM you work, because that is very important. There are so many changes that has been done from version to version. There are so many new things or new features implemented as part of the new version as well. So one version of BRM is completely different from the other version of BRM. For example, BRM version 15 is having so many features that is not part of 7.5. For example, payment installation plan is part of BRM 12 and 15, which is not there in 7.5. So there will be so many features that you need to learn. When you say, if you say that you worked on BRM 12, then there will be so many new features that are not there in 7.5. So a customer who are looking for all the features implemented in 12, they will ask questions about the BRM version 12 rather than version 7.5. So it is important to know what features are evolved as part of which version. And the core implementation of BRM still remains the same. We will look into those implementation aspects in the next few slides. So you will get a good grasp of all the implementation methodologies around Oracle BRM. But the only difference from one version to the other is the new features that Oracle has implemented. Those things you should know if you are, I mean, like when you are trying to attend an interview for a client, you need to know which version they are looking at or which version they are using. So that is very important and critical. And we will also look at what are all the other, other tools implemented around BRM by Oracle to make it more interesting or make it more efficient for all their, telecom customers. So let's get into the next slide. These are all the things, these are all the tools or the programming languages that you are seeing on this slide are important to know. So you doesn't need to be a master in all of this. If you know a little bit, or if you are a beginner and you know a slight, a little details about these things, that's good enough. So you doesn't need to be a fully master of all these seven things that I mentioned here. For example, Unix, you doesn't need to be a Unix administrator, or you don't need to go to another course and learn complete end-to-end details of Unix. So a basic commands that will be used in Unix will be sufficient to work within Oracle BRM. So there will be a, for example, if you want to edit a file, there will be a vi command. If you want to find something within the files, there will be a find command, and there will be a grep command as well. There will be shell scripting, Perl scripting within the Unix itself, and the main major programming that will happen within BRM is C program. So Oracle has implemented a library called PCM. Uh, Actually, it was developed by Portal Infonet itself, so that's why it is called Portal Communications modules, and then PIN libraries, which is nothing but Portal Infonet libraries. So it's important to know about, like what are all the things that are you going to face, or what are all the things that you need to know a little when you are trying to learn Oracle BRM from scratch. So you doesn't need to be a master about the C programming. You need to know a little about, the syntax. Um, for example, conditional statements, if, for, loop, while, and all those things. And also at the same time, other C programming areas like pointers, the single pointers, the double pointers, those things you will need to know. So you doesn't need to write a huge, big C programs as such, because you will be using the modules developed by Portal Infonet. So, for example, you want to print something in the log. There is a function provided by the Portal Infonet itself. So you don't need to write it from the scratch. So you will be using those modules already developed. So it is not complete C program, or it is not complete Portal Infonet's complete a different programming language itself. It is not that. It is a C programming at the end of the day, but you will be using a lot of existing utilities or existing functions developed by Portal Infonet. So, so that is about, the prerequisites that you need to know when you are going to, start learning about Oracle BRM. Um, Next, there will be a database as well. So you will need to know that a little bit of SQL will be needed. Some SQLs like CRUD, create, read, update, delete. Those commands are needed. A little bit of PLSQL might be needed. That is not mandatory, like packages, functions, triggers, those kind of things. When you have to pull a report, and there is no other system which can do that, then you need to write a PLSQL package, or a sorry, or a function of that sort. Java is not really needed, meaning like not all projects will be using Java. Again, within Java there is something called Java PCM. So you'll be using those functions within Java. So it is not core Java completely, or it is not some other programming language. It will mix. So you will be using Java syntax with those functions or modules developed by BR or in Portal. So there will be an XML and XSD files. BRM generates the invoices and other documents in XML format, and we can use other tools to convert the XML into PDF. So we will be discussing about those as well. There are few other applications developed around BRM, something like PDC, BIP, billing care, BOC, and so on. So those are all hosted on WebLogic. So It should not be a shocker for you that when somebody talks about WebLogic web server, oh, there is a WebLogic as well within Oracle BRM that we don't know. So, though you might not be needed to administer the WebLogic, but it is a bit important to know for you that there is something called WebLogic web server, and it is being used by the tools around BRM itself. So you doesn't need to be a master in any all of this. Just a basic understanding will be good enough. If you don't even know any of these, you can still continue with the course and learn when we get into each and every of these. For example, I'll open a VM and show it to you within this video itself. Within this, within this course video, within this first introduction video itself, I'll show you the VM, and then I will show you, how to open a terminal, and then use some commands, use some Unix commands. So you can learn those commands. um, Also, I will show you how to write C programs within BRM. So that will be in the next video. So you will be able to see all of these while I'm doing it as part of this course. But make a note of it. Try to maintain the notes by yourself. Either OneNote or some notepad. Maintain sections like this: Unix, C, and PLSQL, and so on. So you will have multiple sections within your notepad or the OneNote. And whenever you learn something new, try to put it over there. Try to capture those details into your personal notes, because these concepts are very volatile. You will learn as part of this video now, but then it is easy to forget later. So if you keep revising those in the notes, then it will be easy for you to handle any kind of an interview within Oracle BRM. So the developers and architects both can look at these videos and try to grasp something out of it. I'm starting it very slow, so probably architects who are already working on, or the developers who are already working within BRM might not find it so convenient for them, because it is all very basic at the beginning. But it will be very beneficial to those who are looking to join within, to get into the industry of telecommunications, to get into the BSS, and to work in the billing software. So I'm trying to make it as slow as possible and as detailed as possible for everybody. So it should not be only for those who have a lot of experience within Oracle BRM, but it should also help to those who wants to enter into this market. So let's get into the next slide. This is the very important aspect of Oracle BRM. So what is the architecture? Any interview doesn't end without this question. Can you explain the architecture of Oracle BRM? So they will try to see how much you know about Oracle BRM implementation defaults. So Oracle BRM initially developed by Portal Infranet. So they named it as Portal Infranet. It is a four-tier architecture. So you can just imagine it like any other web application, for example. So what happens in a web application? You will have a UI, user interface, maybe a website. You will open that website in the browser. Then there will be, when you enter the details within that website, then that website or the UI will trigger to a middle system, meaning like there will be a logic somewhere within the server which will be triggered, and then the logic will take care of the inputs provided within the UI, and then those details will be passed to the database. So the similar concept here for BRM as well. So the first tier is the applications. It can be a CRM, or it can be a custom application from the client, or it can be a CPQ. It can be any module that talks to the BRM. So most of the times there will be a CRM or a lightweight CRM or a custom CRM developed in-house by the telco. So there will be so the applications will be mainly CRM, and there will be provisioning layer as well. So there is an application called ASAP, which will be integrated with BRM for the provisioning purposes and so on. So all the applications comes as first tier, and then there is a connection manager. 99% of the business logic will be there under the connection manager. So we will discuss in detail what is a connection manager, how to write the code within the connection manager, what it holds, and all those things. So connection manager is the place where all the business logic and most of the work also within the connection manager. So it accepts the C programs, and then when we start the connection manager, it will consider all the configuration files, some of the data from the database, some of the the files that we have compiled, the C programs that we have compiled. It will consider all the data and keeps it in its cache memory. And then whenever somebody submits a request, it looks at its cache memory and then responds back. So that's why Oracle BRM is pretty fast in processing bulk orders. It can accept millions. We need to scale it, but still it has the capability of processing millions of orders in a day. And then the next tier is the data manager. So what a data manager does is it converts the request from CM, from the connection manager, to the database. So why we need a data manager? Why can't CM directly pass the SQLs to the database? Why we need a data manager in between? So this is a very good concept. Back in the year 1980s itself, Portal designed in such a way that any database should work with Oracle BRM. So we will write the same syntax within the connection manager, and data manager's responsibility is to convert that particular data request into an SQL format, which is accepted by the database. For example, if it is a Oracle database, then it will make sure that it will convert the syntax into something like SQL format for Oracle database, something like select blah 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 from the table and so on. So if it is SQL Server, the syntax will be slightly different. Most of the projects, most of the clients uses Oracle database. So uh, try to learn from these videos about Oracle database. Basically, we will be focusing mainly on the Oracle database. We will not be looking at SQL Server or any other databases. So it's purely Oracle database now. But the conceptually, it is very good to have a data manager in between. So, for example, um, in the current days, if you develop an application, if you want a data manager kind of thing, so the equivalent will be something like Juke. So you might have heard about. There could be so many other tools, but Juke is one. Uh, Juke Java application, for example, if you type like that. Um, so so you can see here what Juke does and so on. So Juke is also the similar concept where it converts the uh, format into the database format. Uh, you can choose which database it is, PostgreSQL, MySQL, or Oracle database, or any other. So Juke will make sure that it will convert that particular code into a into the format that is required by the database. So you can look at Juke later, but we don't need to know about Juke because we will not be using Juke in Oracle BRM at all. But you will know how data manager works by looking at other contemporary or other tools similar to data manager. And the database again is, as you know, like there is Oracle database. There are so many other databases in the market. We will be using Oracle database. We will be looking at Oracle database because that is the only database being used by all the telcos across the globe. Uh, so that's about it. That is the architecture of BRM, and then slowly we will focus on the connection manager portion, and you will be able to see how to how connection manager work and how we can write the code and then implement the business logic, which is like the majority of any project of Oracle BRM. So that is the important piece that we need to learn before getting into any other topics. Um, so let's look at some of the modules of BRM. Account management, it manages the accounts of the customers, it manages the price plans, and then the services provided by the client. It processes the usage using the batch rating. AR stands for account receivables, like payments, adjustments, refunds, and so on. And then BRM generates the invoices. You will know what is an invoice. For example, if you have a postpaid SIM card, then you will be getting an invoice at the month end or the year end based on your plan and frequency of payment. So that is the invoice. Collections is nothing but, let's say, what happens if a customer doesn't pay for a certain period, then what should happen? That is called the collections module. And you can also manage the devices. For example, let's say we have 1,000 numbers allocated to the business, then we will be selling those 1,000 to the customers. So once a number is allocated to a customer, then that should not be available in the inventory. That is also called device management. So these are the major modules of BRM. So any billing or any subscription system starts with the pricing. For example, let's say you open a Netflix site and then you go to the Netflix. So the first thing that we will see is what is the pricing, like monthly price, how much it is. If it is annual plan, then what is the price? So it is important to know the pricing structure of the client, whether it is telco or other subscription business or whatever. Once we have the pricing set up, I will tell you how to set up the pricing in BRM and in the next few videos, and I will show you practically how to do it. We will discuss in detail about the pricing. There is a tool called PDC, which is nothing but pricing design center. We will be able to design all the price plans. We will be able to configure them. We will be able to use them for the customers, and there are so many other things that we can do with the PDC. So we will be looking at those things when we go into that section. So again, all these, like, services, service management, accounts, pricing, all these will be part of, again, the CM. So connection manager logic will manage the logic for all of these modules, most of them. So it is important to keep in mind that, like, when we try to, for example, when we try to create an account, the business logic, let's assume that the business logic is that we should not be able to create the account if the zip code is something ABCD, something like that. Then uh, we can write a logic within the CM itself, that, if the zip code doesn't fall under certain criteria, then reject that particular account creation request. So all this will be under connection manager. It is good to have the note, like, what are all the areas that we need to focus. Dividing the areas like this will help in terms of the learning. You will know, like, which specific area that you are focusing. For example, let's look at account management. Then under account management, you will need to know what are all the code that will impact the account management within CM, and you need to know what are all the database tables that will be updated as part of the account management, and you will need to know what are all the dynamics of account management, like what are all the statuses that a customer can have. When we create a new customer account, it will be active, and we can make the customer inactive when they're going to, when they're going to suspend the services for a certain period. There could be requirement that the customer might not use the services for a few months, maybe 6 months or so on. So then we can make the customer account as inactivate. If the customer don't want to continue with the services, we can close the account. So there are three statuses: active, inactive, and closed. So it is important to know all these dynamics so that when you are trying to write certain logic within the billing system, you are aware about, how BRM reacts in each and every scenario. So next part is the tools, like we discussed before. There are so many tools around built around BRM, um, uh, built around BRM, and then those are called PDC, Billing Care, BOC, BIP, PCC, and the batch rating. So PDC stands for Pricing and Design Center, uh, and so as we discussed earlier, uh, so Pricing Design Center helps to create or configure the price plans. For example, what is a price plan? If you go to a T-Mobile account, T-Mobile website, they will show you the different price plans that you can choose as part of the postpaid plans. If it is not a prepaid SIM card, maybe monthly 30, 40, or maybe 45, you will get additional services if it is a highest plan, highest paid plan, and so on. So it is important to define, configure those price plans first. Uh, uh, so PDC does that. PDC does that. Uh, uh, So the next one is the billing care. The billing care is like kind of a lightweight CRM. It doesn't do all the activities that CRM can do, but it is used for viewing the customer accounts. You can search for a customer account number by using an account number or name or a phone number, or there are so many other fields that you can use. So that is about the billing care. It is developed within by Oracle itself, and it is part of the Oracle BRM. The BOC is the Business Operations Center. So Business Operations Center is does the scheduling of the jobs. So how the invoices generate for all the customers is there will be a batch job that will be scheduled within BRM. So we will be able to, earlier before BOC is introduced, we used to use cron job or other scheduler softwares which can schedule the billing batch jobs within BRM. Now, after BOC entered into the BRM ecosystem, we are using BOC to monitor the batch jobs. It will also show how many processed, how many failures, all those stats. Um, so that is about BOC. BIP is the place where we can view the reports and view the invoices. It generates the invoices, payment receipts, or any other documents that are needed by the customer. So that is about BIP. PCC is pipeline configurations, which we can look into it later, not so important. BIP is also not a mandatory tool. BRM can generate the invoice, but BIP is being widely used due to its configurable UI and the report view mechanism that it has. BIP is an external tool. It is called Oracle BI Business Intelligence Publisher. So Business Intelligence Publisher can be used in any place where we need reports and some documents need to be generated. We can configure and create the template, for example, invoice template or payment receipt template. We can create so many other templates, and then BIP can generate the PDFs or HTML format based invoices pretty quickly and easily. The next one is the batch rating, which we discussed earlier. We will look into those as well in the upcoming videos. The next one is the what is an opcode. So the connection manager, we talked about the connection manager. Connection manager, we also spoke about the C programs that a connection manager will have as part of the four-tier architecture of the BRM. So those functions or those C programs are called opcodes. So there is no interview within Oracle BRM where, without this question, how to write a new opcode. So any developer or an architect who tries to enter into Oracle BRM, they should know what is an opcode, how to write a new opcode, or how to modify an opcode, and so on. So there are four types of opcodes. Opcode is nothing but a C function. So in a function of C program, there will be a function name, there will be input, there will be output. The opcode also stands the same. So opcode stands for function, basically. Opcode is operational code, we can say. So it manages the business logic. It contains the business logic. So that's why it is called opcode. So there are four types of opcodes: base opcodes, system, and then policy, as well as custom opcodes. We can write an opcode from scratch. We can modify a policy opcode. We cannot access the code, or we cannot modify either a base opcode or a system opcode. We can make use of them. So we will look into what is an opcode, what are all the opcodes that BRM has, and all those things, as well as we will write a custom opcode in the next upcoming videos. I will show you how to write a write an opcode and all those things. Um, at the same time, it is good to know what is the documentation that is provided by Oracle. So go to Google and then type Oracle BRM 12. 12 is being used by most of the customers, so better to go to this. This link I will provide in the description of the video as well. So keep this link bookmarked, and then go through the concepts. And after once you go through the concepts a little, don't try to digest each and everything that is mentioned in these documents. These documents are too big, too huge. So the purpose of this course is that you will learn little by little, and whenever there is a need, that you will refer to these documents to get a better understanding. So once you go to the concepts, you will be able to see what is the BRM system overview. We discussed about the four-tier architecture and how BRM works, and so on. So there are so many detailed graphics and other information provided, but don't try to digest each and everything on the day one itself, because that is not what we want to do it. Eventually and slowly you will learn about each and every concept of Oracle BRM. Then I will let you know which module to look into specifically as part of that particular video. In the video description, I will mention what are all the things that you can go through and ask me the questions as well. So Oracle BRM is now is on the cloud as well. So you can't have it on the cloud, that means you cannot access Oracle BRM on a browser, but the customers who would like to have a cloud setup, they can install in their servers as a cloud version, so that Kubernetes and other cloud related tools will help to manage the servers and so on. Administration and security, installation, administration. So there are so many documents, not even like, it will not take more than 6 months, or maybe you need at least 3-4 months to go through all these documents in detail. But if you try to go through one by one and understand from scratch, that doesn't help, because at the end of the day, what we need is not just book knowledge. We need the practical knowledge as well. We need the minimalistic practical knowledge that we need to get into a job. Once you land into the job, you will learn more in depth or in detail concepts by going through the documentation. So it is not necessary, or it is not important to have the knowledge about all these thousands of pages of the books at the beginning itself. Now let's go back to the training again. So we discussed about the opcodes, and then let's say you are trying to look at the list of opcodes. Then where we need to go is that, let's say we'll go to the developers reference, and then pin libraries. So this is all about the different libraries that BRM is having. Let's go back to the developers guide. So here you can see how to customize, what are all the opcodes, and so on. So let's there should be something called opcode guide as well. Let's try to look for that. Opcode guide. So if you click on this, you will be able to see what are all the opcodes that will be there as part of the BRM ecosystem, and so on. So um, so you will be able to see here what are all the context management opcodes. So for example, we are looking at the customer account management opcodes. Then we can see here, like subscription opcodes and so on. So this is the name of an opcode. If it is an out of the box, it starts with PCM underscore OP. PCM stands for Portal Communication Module, and OP stands for opcode. If it is a custom opcode, we will write something like custom underscore OP and then some name. So each opcode, we can consider it as a function name, and this is how the names will look like. So it is important to know some of them, but not all of them. Like for example, PCMOP commit customer. In the interview, they will ask, what is the opcode? Tell me the name of the opcode which will create the customer account. So this is the name that you have to say. This one and this one both are responsible to create a customer account. So similarly, there are so many other opcodes. Around 10,000 opcodes are there. You don't need to learn about all the 10,000, but keep an eye and learn most of them. Most of them, in the sense, the ones those are very important and being used by all the clients across the globe. So those are the ones that you need to focus. Now let's go back to the course, and then so how you can learn Oracle BRM practically, but not just looking at the documentation, is to have a VM. You can request Oracle to provide you a VM, and then you need to install a software called Oracle Virtual Machine. So you can just go to Google Oracle Virtual Box, Oracle Virtual Box. So you can install Oracle Virtual Box, latest one, and I have already installed it here. And then click on the import. It will import your VM here. If you need any help, you can ping me or you can send me an email. I will guide you how to set up this VM, like importing and all those things. There are a few settings that you need to make as well. There is very basic simple settings, not much. You will be able to do it by yourself. If you are not able to, you can approach me as well. And then we'll boot this VM because this VM contains BRM version 7.5 as well as PDC, and it has the database, everything pre-installed. You don't need to install anything from the scratch. So it has everything installed. What you need to do is that you just need to write some programs and learn the things a little bit practically. That's it. So let's start the VM, and the VM is getting boot. Just give a minute for it to get booted. It will take a little while to boot the VM because it depends on the RAM, that how much RAM that you have. I'm using a Windows desktop which is having 32 gigs, so it boots pretty quickly. It doesn't take much time. If you have a similar setup, or if even if you have a 16 gigs RAM, either a laptop or a desktop, it will work. Both will work. Um, so once you boot up, you need to log in to the VM. Let's give another minute for it to start. So this is the login screen. This credentials you will get it from Oracle itself, and like you need to enter the username. It is root in most of the cases. You need to enter the root username and then the password, and the VM is up. The VM, the Unix machine which contains BRM is started. Generally, you will use the software like Putty or MobiXterm to connect to a VM machine, to connect to a server of BRM. But in this case, we are directly using the VM, and we will be using uh, uh, the UI itself to connect to the BRM. So just need to click on Open Terminal, and now let's try to start the database once, because every time you boot up the VM, it starts everything from scratch. We need to make sure that all the services need to be started from the scratch, from the beginning, so that we can make use of the applications. So let us switch to the user called Oracle, and now Oracle user is logged in. So these are all the basic Unix commands that you need to know. For example, in this case, I used the command called sudo su hyphen hyphen and then your username. So don't get disappointed that if you doesn't know what is sudo does or what is sudo hyphen space su hyphen oracle. Just remember that it will switch the user. Su stands for switch the user. You can later on learn, or you can master it later by going in depth of each of these commands. For now, you just need to know that there is some command like this to switch to another user, and then we can use TNS pin. I know the service name already, so um, so that is the destination host is not reachable. So that is the command that we need to use to check whether database is up and running or not. You can see here destination host not reachable. That means um, the database is not up. Uh, so we need to make few changes here, and then once we make those changes, we will be able to bring up the VM, and once we will be able to bring up the database. Let me show you how to boot up. Like how to bring up the Oracle database in this case. Um, Go to type this command called ifconfig. Um, let's exit from here. Ifconfig, it is 127.0.0.1. We need to make a little change to the hosts file. Hosts, and okay, it is already having 127.0.0.0.1. So here we need to make that change. So this should be 127.0.0.1. So now once we do this, we can log into Oracle. I'm going to use another session to log into Oracle and then bring up the Oracle database. So again, we will be switching to Oracle user. Now what we can do is start or stop the process first. Let us try to stop it. Though it is not running, I'm just trying to make sure that it is not at all active or up and running. So listener control is the command, lnscrctl space stop. That is the command that we need to run. Uh, so it will try to stop the database instances if it is running. The command completed successfully. So the same command, listener control space start. You just need to start it. So it says the command completed successfully. That means the database is up. Now it is not mandatory to open another terminal, but I'm just want to make sure. I'm just always trying to keep separate tabs for separate users. So from here you can again go to uh, the application user of BRM, which is nothing but, in this case it is called pin 10. We know what is pin. It is called Portal Infernet, which is the actual company who created the software. So now we are into pin user. So pin user. Now let's try to connect to the database to see whether it is up and running or not. So we can go to SQL plus pin 10 slash pin 10, add service name. Service name is nothing but ORCL. So we are able to uh, connect to the database. So for example, I'll try to write a simple query here. Select count of star from account underscore t. We will discuss in detail about the tables of BRM and all those things in the future videos, but for now just trying to test the database connection, which is good. Now how to stop and start BRM. So go to this test. Though it is not mandatory, I always try to do it from the test folder. Type the command stop underscore all. So that is the command that is configured. Again, it depends on the configuration. Stop underscore all is a script. If it has so many services, then all those services will be stopped. So as we discussed as part of the basic architecture or the architecture of BRM, the CM and DM, those two are mandatory. If CM service is up and running and DM service is up and running, along with the database, we are good to use BRM. Uh, for most of the business use cases, this simple setup of BRM is good enough. So I'm going to stop everything, show something like this because these are not running at all. Now I'm going to do a start underscore all. It will ask me whether it can remove the existing log files. I'll say yes, and then it is going to boot up it is going to bring up all the basic services and the other services as well. Like you can see here, it is trying to bring DM. It already brought up DM and it is CM. So there is a sequence. We cannot start, if we want to start individual processes, it is possible, but we cannot start it in some whatever the sequence that we need. We will discuss those also later. So test snap is the utility that we need to uh, the developer need to know most about. Again, test snap will also be discussed in the next video because we will be using the test snap utility, and by using this utility we will try to write some search template. Then we will use those search template in an opcode. We will execute that opcode and see the output, and all those things we will do in the next video. So for now, let's see whether the processes are really BRM processes are really started, and how to test whether those are started or not is by using this utility called test snap. So come to the test folder and type test NAP without any spaces, enter. If you see this kind of prompt, that means database 001, WinConf, user ID, NAP, it says NAP and then this number. This number is nothing but the process number of the CM. So we can say Q and then enter, it will come out of the prompt. So you can also see ps minus ef is the Unix command, and then grep cm dollar, just to see whether cm is opened or not. We'll be able to see like this. And we also discussed about dm as part of the architecture. So to check whether the process is up and running or not, we can check it like this. So if I try to connect test snap and go to another terminal, for example, let me open another terminal. Let's say from here, I will try to check how many CM processes are running. Now there are three. Why there are three? Earlier there were two when I checked here. There are two CM processes running, but now there are three. Now there are three because I connected to the test snap and the process ID is 4441. So another process started here. So another process started here and that will be shown here. So that's why there are three now. So every time some new process starts, another new CM process, child process will be triggered. We will be discussing about those as well in the next upcoming videos. Thank you so much, and subscribe. Later on, we will be discussing in-depth development details of Oracle BRM. Thank you once again.